This is the story of how I dropped everything and moved to Croatia. At first, it was just for 5 weeks. 5 weeks that completely changed my life. And then, I never left. This is a story about courage, freedom, and love. But most of all, it's a story about finding a new life in Croatian paradise. The beginning of everything. January in the place I used to live was far from an inspiring month, dark, cold and heavy, kind of like my life at the time. You know that feeling when you hit rock bottom, when there's not much left to lose? Some people give into it, sinking deeper into sadness. Others lift their heads, take a deep breath and fight. For me, the fight was simple. Pack up my 20-year-old car, drive nearly 2,000 kilometers alone and spend a few weeks in Croatia, waking up every day to an endless blue sea and towering mountains. I first visited Croatia in 2013 and it was love at the first sight. Something about this country just clicked with me. I knew that if I was going to save myself, I had to do it somewhere beautiful, somewhere like this. The plan that changed everything. Planning the trip wasn't difficult, it was only meant to be 5 weeks after all. Back then I had no idea that Croatia would flip my life upside down in the best way possible. But we'll get to that. First, let me tell you how this whole adventure even started. Before I could leave, I had to wrap up some unfinished business. Filing for divorce so I could finally cut ties with all that negative energy, giving my brother very specific instructions on how and when to water my plants, and of course packing everything I needed for the trip. Then, just 2 days before departure, my old Mitsubishi decided it had other plans, a serious breakdown. Luckily, my mechanic pulled off a miracle and just like that, I was back on the road, driving into a new life. From my home country straight to Makarska. And on the way I made myself a promise. This time was for me. No stress, no distractions, just pure mental and physical recovery. I wasn't going to let anyone mess with that. I also decided I would avoid any kind of deep relationships. Friendships, sure, but romance, not a chance. At heart, I'm an introvert, so this didn't seem like a problem. For the first 2 weeks it was perfect. Makarska was stunning. I walked for miles exploring the coastline, soaking in the salty air, letting the sea breeze clear my mind. I've always been comfortable alone, an outsider with a deep love for personal revolutions. Small ones, quiet ones, the kind that shift your entire perspective. But then, something unexpected happened. The twist I didn't see coming. At some point, despite the beauty, despite the peace, I started feeling lonely. The long walks weren't enough anymore, and making connections in real life, well, let's just say my attempts in Croatia weren't exactly successful. Even a rock concert with a crew of bikers from Bosnia didn't do the trick. And that's where things started to take an interesting turn. So I decided to test the waters. Could I actually meet someone here through dating apps? Yes, seriously, but hear me out. It was purely for making connections. I had already learned back in my home country that these apps aren't just about relationships or one-night stands. A girl I once matched with told me she was just looking for friendships, and that idea kind of stuck with me, so I thought, why not give it a shot? And well, let's just say I got way more attention in Croatia than I ever did back home. Now you might be wondering, why limit myself to just one gender, and on top of that, only to people who find me attractive enough to match? Fair point. But the thing is, I've always found it easier to connect with women than with guys. That's just how it's always been. So there I was, swiping left, 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 until suddenly I stopped. I came across a girl whose beauty completely took my breath away. And yes, even though my plan was just to make local connections, strictly platonic, no extras, there was something about her that made me pause. Turns out she wasn't Croatian, but she wasn't from my country either, and that in itself was intriguing. I was curious, how does someone from another part of the world see Croatia? Do they love it as much as I do? Or maybe in completely different way? At that time I was living in Makarska. She was in Split. I had already been to Split a few times, but what I didn't know back then was that it would soon become my permanent home. I sent her a message, something casual, just saying I'd love to meet someone from the area, no expectations, no pressure. And now, spoiler alert, that girl? Yeah, she's my wife. If you want to hear the rest of this story, hit that subscribe button because trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. Plus, I'll be showing you the best of Croatia, this country like you've never seen it before.